Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. First, a controversial plan to bring back unvaccinated teachers into Tasmanian schools has been slammed by the Education Union. The government is currently undertaking a risk assessment, but there are fears it will only escalate absences in the classroom.
As winter illnesses run rampant, the schoolyard's being left to feel the brunt of ample sick leave requests.
So to say then that we're going to introduce unvaccinated teachers into what is already a vulnerable environment is reprehensible. I cannot for the life of me understand why that would occur.
A major government shake-up of the teaching cohort is currently under consultation, but Tasmania's Education Union says the timing couldn't be worse.
If the Education Union had not stepped in, then unvaccinated staff would return on Monday. And I think that is not good enough.
An official announcement is expected in coming days.
There is a revised proposal for how we're going to manage a range of those restrictions being consulted right now with our teaching workforce, unions and other stakeholders.
The Education Minister turning his focus to enhancing the workforce, spruiking more than $1 million into a Teach for Australia partnership.
There's lots of demand for people with skills and qualifications in lots of fields. That's why we're investing in new and different ways of recruiting people.
All part of a strategy to access high-quality educators, no matter the location.
Aerospace engineers through to zoologists, and we invite them either straight out of university or as a career changer to teach in areas of high need into real vacancies in schools.
Over the next 2 years, 75 new teachers will come out of the program, with a particular focus to fill positions in regional and remote areas of the state.
Some of the challenges include attendance. It's about reaching children and students who have many diverse needs in a classroom full of 30 students. That's a really challenging thing to do.
Although the opposition believes the government's plan will only cause more chaos.
They said they had 1,400 relief staff that they could draw on at any given time. And why else would they change this important condition if they actually had the staff?
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
A look into the state of Tasmania's local government sector has revealed concerns councils are struggling to fulfil their responsibilities, with a push to see some services consolidated to improve efficiency. The interim report gathered more than 1,400 community responses, which also aims to tackle workplace culture.
What we want is a system in place that deals with these particular incidents effectively, and we hope that by doing that, that'll be enough of a deterrent to members of local government as well in terms of that behaviour.
Sporting facilities, the bicycle tracks we're seeing going in everywhere, the parks, the arts and the culture are now in communities' minds a very important part of what they see local government's role.
Priority reform areas have now been identified for Stage 2, and members of the public are encouraged to continue providing feedback. Dozens of Tasmanian police officers are off work due to stress. Dealing with road fatalities a major contributing factor, according to the Police Association. The state's road toll is now at 35. That equals last year, and we're just 7 months in.
Asking drivers to take responsibility for their actions on the road. The Police Association of Tasmania saying their members go through repeated trauma when visiting fatal crashes. Their statistics showing 10% of officers have an open workers' compensation claim, and 4.2% or 58 police officers are off work due to PTSD.
So our members are obviously dealing with the traumatic scene, but we're also dealing with the distraught family members, and we're also dealing with the file completion and then eventually going to court. So it's nearly repetitive trauma.
It comes as the state's road toll now sits at 35, the same number as last year's total, and it's only July. Compared to the previous years, 37 people died in 2020, while 36 people died in 2016. This time last year, the death toll was sitting at 18. The Road Safety Advisory Council is not happy with the trend, again asking motorists to be aware of their responsibilities on the road.
Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of complacency out there amongst drivers. Pretty much everyone would be aware of what we call the fatal five.
Earlier this week, several drivers were caught out in the icy road conditions. Driving under the influence also under the spotlight. Overnight police charged 3 men with high-range drink driving in Launceston, including a 21-year-old Hobart man who crashed his car here at the country club and returned a breath analysis sample of 0.19%.
Alcohol and drugs are some of the main contributing factors in crashes, and everybody knows that you shouldn't drive if you've had too much to drink or if you've taken drugs.
The Police Association is calling for resources to be put back into road and traffic enforcement.
Our members are doing hundreds of hours each week to support other government agencies' core functions, and we actually need to take those hours and we need our members to be on the street actually doing traffic policing services.
Mark Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
Despite a record-breaking intake of staff over the past 2 years, Tasmania's health system is feeling the strain of the COVID-19 pandemic. 383 employees have been furloughed for COVID-related reasons, 298 experiencing active infection. 193 patients have also tested positive for the virus, 52 treated specifically for it.
We will also close beds in hospital if it is unsafe to staff them.
A further 1,684 new infections have emerged overnight as active cases exceed 9,500. Meanwhile, another 2 deaths has brought the state's COVID toll to 118. Tasmanians are being encouraged to embrace their inner sustainability warrior through new environmental friendly bins. The installation's part of a push to reach net zero emissions, with one local business taking the lead.
Doing its part to protect the environment, Hobart's Hamlet Cafe is no stranger to sustainable service.
All the waste that comes through the kitchen, including any food wastage, goes into the compost.
The cafe's owner also forking out additional funds for compostable coffee cups.
They're more expensive for us to buy, yes. And you can only get them from Melbourne, so we pay a lot in shipping.
She's urging other businesses to locate their green thumb in hopes to see a local distributor set up shop.
Even though we do everything we can to have compostable packaging, if there's not a compost bin to put it in that's accessible to people who are getting takeaways, it doesn't really solve the problem.
Hearing their concerns, 4 new food and garden organics bins have arrived at the Domain.
The City of Hobart has put those bins up at the Domain, at the pizza oven area, and also at the athletics track.
The council also enforcing compulsory compostable packaging.
We're now collecting about 4,000 tonnes of organic waste via the FOGO bin every year.
The waste is converted to high quality compost available for public purchase, saving Tasmanians money in the long run.
We've got a new landfill levy. It's $20 going up to $60 over the next couple of years.
Hoping to roll out even more FOGO bins in the near future, the City of Hobart is setting a good pace as it strives to achieve its waste management strategy by 2030. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Traditional red is running pink at a Tasmanian football club to raise money for breast cancer this weekend. The University of Tasmania Lions are swapping into these specially made Guernseys in the hope of raising $5,000 for the McGrath Foundation. Club supporter and cancer survivor Debbie Wells says the organisation provides critical support.
Once I came through the surgery and the radiation, I had regular contact with the McGrath nurse, and they were basically there all that time until I said, OK, I'm fine now, I can go on from here.
We're obviously going to have a lot of people here, so we want to put a good show on for the crowd.
The Lions will host Perth in Saturday's Pink Day Clash. 8 new entrepreneurs have launched their companies as part of Enterprise's 12-week Born Global Incubator program. Among the crowd founders of the founders of the Sophona app, helping orchestras better manage their schedules.
Professional orchestras have running costs of hundreds of dollars per minute. So any delay to that, the costs start to rise exponentially. So anything we can do to eliminate confusion is a benefit to the organisation.
Software has already been adopted by local, interstate and international orchestras.
We teach them how to pitch their idea, how to work with corporates, and most importantly, how to test their idea in the market.
Applications are currently open for the second program commencing next month. A scarcely known part of convict life in Tasmania is about to tap into the public's conscience. The Dancing in Fetters exhibition is showcasing convict music and cultural dance and aims to challenge the idea a convict's life was little more than punishment and toil.
So often we think of convicts as having really horrible lives and that there was no joy in them at all. So this exhibition really shows that there was a lighter side to their existence.
It's important that people understand their history.
The exhibit is being held at Woolmers, where many convicts were sent to work in the 1800s rather than going to prison. Some stayed employed at the site following their sentence.
In the TSL, a decision has been made to where this weekend's Lauderdale-Launceston match will be played. Officials from AFL Tasmania inspected the ground quality of Lauderdale Oval this morning. However, the league confirmed the match would be played at the venue after earlier talks of moving the game to Kingborough.
We're in the middle of winter in Tassie, so at times the grounds can be chopped up, and we're aware that there's some other venues that we can play at.
It's not great. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's not great. Credit to the council, they've tried really hard.
The Bombers will face the Inform Blues after losing to Clarence in the previous round. In the NBL1, the Hobart Chargers men's hope their winning streak continues when they hit the road to face the Geelong Supercats. It's Hobart's last trip interstate for the home and away season.
We've given ourselves a little bit of a buffer, but that could all end in one weekend. So we've got to make sure that we go over there, and it's a huge couple of games for Geelong and Bendigo as well as us.
Meanwhile, the women's side hopes to cause a boil-over in its match against the 4th place Geelong. Tasmania has gone down 5-2 in the Under-21 Hockey Nationals. The men's side was 4-0 behind at one stage before 2 quick goals in the third quarter made for better reading. The women's team plays tonight. And the Hobart Hurricanes will be the last to pick an overseas player when the inaugural Big Bash draft takes place. The Hurricanes drew the short straw in the weighted lottery, having to wait until all other teams have made a selection in the first round. More than 170 players have nominated for the draft, which takes place on August 28. And that's all for tonight's sport, Kim.
Good evening. Hobart, 11 degrees today. Launceston, Smithton and Flinders Island our high with 15, while Devonport recorded 14. The north and west had temperatures slightly above average at last. King Island and Strawn 14, Low Head and St Helens 13 today. Friendly Beaches 12, Grove 11, Bushy Park 9, Lyawini 5 after a low of -7. Some low cloud moved over the north of the state today. Cloud-free areas over much of the south. Plenty off the east coast as well. Onshore breezes brought the cloud to southern New South Wales and eastern Victoria. Frontal cloud there over southern WA with active middle-level cloud over New South Wales and Queensland. Tomorrow the high moves east, maintaining the northeasterly airflow over us. The cold front moves into a more central position with an associated trough over WA. Now, as mentioned, those northeasterly winds will be on tomorrow at 10 to 20 knots over the east and stronger over the northern waters, and up to 30 knots for western waters. So we have a strong wind warning there. That's been issued for waters between Low Rocky Point and Stanley. And we have more hazardous driving conditions for many roads due to ice on roads in many areas in the morning. Hobart tomorrow up to 14 degrees, a cool start but a sunny afternoon, mostly sunny for Huonville, 14 the high, 0 for Campania to kick off but 14 later. Launceston 14 and partly cloudy, showers for Devonport 14 and for Georgetown. Burnie tomorrow a top of 13 degrees with showers but fine for Strawn and Wynyard, 15 and 14 degrees, and for the east St Helens a shower or 2, 13. Partly cloudy but fine for Swansea and 13 the high for Port Arthur. The weekend is looming but so is that cold front, bringing showers on Saturday mainly over the north and west, cloudy for Hobart and the southeast. Similar weather on the cards for Sunday with light northerly winds developing, and on Monday a few showers over the north and east extending elsewhere in the evening. Further north we have a shower or 2 in Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy and 17 in both Adelaide and Melbourne. Showers forecast for Sydney with 17, rain and 18 in Brisbane, cool for them, but sunny and warm over the top end. Cool and clear in Hobart, 5 at the moment, Launceston clear and 8 degrees, and Devonport partly cloudy and 11. Now, Kim, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're always wrong. And that is all your news for now. We'll be back later with updates. Good night.